So just to give you a little bit of background, Twitch has announced yesterday that Twitch will be shutting down their business in Korea. So why is this happening? Why is the operating cost in Korea so much more expensive than any other countries that it's even forcing a big company like Amazon, Twitch, to shut down their business? Taxes? What are your guesses? Greed, nepotism, friends in high places by design, collect money. I see your although you may not be super familiar with what the actual issues are, yet your hunches are in the greed and the corruption, all your speculations. They are, like a lot of things. Those things are involved, but I'll try to focus more on sort of the events rather than speculations. But who knows what an ISP is? Can you explain what ISP is to other nenners? I'm sure we got a lot of nerds here. What is an ISP? Whoa, look at you guys. So smart, my nenners. You guys are so smart. Internet service provider. Yes, it's short for internet. I spelled that wrong.
Beep.
Internet service provider. It's gonna cut out, but you can read it. Yes. Does anybody know what a CP stands for? This one you might be a little bit more not as familiar with it than ISPs because it's just never issued enough. Cyberpunk, Club Penguin, Communist Party, PP. What? That doesn't even, it's not even CP. Connection point. Good guess, but no. Content provider. That's right. It is short for content provider. Good job. You get a point. Child protection. No. Controversial party. No. Although they are currently the controversial party right now. Certified proctologist. No, it is content provider. So who are the examples of these two categories? Basically, ISPs, you can think of like for America, internet providers. What are some examples you guys know of? You can think of like content prevention, no. Comcast, AT&T, Canada, Verizon, right. Virgin, no. Who's saying Canada? Walmart, no. Wait, actually, does Walmart have ISP? I don't know. They might. But some of the big ones you can think of are like AT&T, Verizon, these Canada sucks. Excuse me. Where did that come from? Aliens, sure. Virgin maybe in ISP, but just taking out of my ass. Just talking out of my ass. Okay. Oh, your EU. I see. So basically, internet service provider, whoever you're getting internet from, they are your ISPs. And then an example of CP here, content provider could be like YouTube, so Google. Netflix. And today's topic, Twitch, and many more. You could even include like game services. And for this context, we're gonna say CP. They're the content provider companies. So this is content? Yes. What's the next abbreviation? Should explain. CPT? No. Unfortunately, Twitch chat. My nanas taught me what CBT stands for a while back. And now I cannot unlearn that, but I wish I didn't have to learn what that meant. But anyways, we're only going to talk about ISP and CP today, no CBT. So what's happening in Korea right now is basically the battle between these two guys, the ISPs and the CPs. So these guys provide the like network service, right? Internet service. And then the CPs, I mean, you can say that they benefit from each other, but also, I'm effing hard. Wait, what? Huh? What are you guys talking about? But let's say, imagine like YouTube or let's say Twitch, they generate a lot of traffic. So like there are a lot of the content providers, but the ones that use up like the network usage the most are likely to be like video streaming services, like or live streaming services, which is why I use these three as an example, because these three are the ones that I talked about the most between this battle, between the ISPs and the CPs in Korea. VS. Ding, ding, ding. But if there weren't any content providers, nobody would need an ISP. Exactly. So they benefit each other, but they also battle with each other. It's a love and hate relationship. And that is a lot of argument that's used by the CP saying, hey, like if it weren't for us, you know, the value of ISP would go down. Like, and then the ISP goes, well, if we didn't give you the network, people won't even have known that you exist in the same first place. So, you know, they should really coexist and, you know, try to cooperate with each other, which I think they do. But there is still a bit of an arguments here and there around, hey, you know, you're creating a lot of traffic and usage on our end, and it's making us spend extra money on the infrastructures to be able to support your CP. And then the CP is like, well, you're welcome. So the way this argument started, so Korea actually already has this thing called, from what I've heard, usage fee, like the network usage fee, which does not exist in any other countries right now. But basically, a lot of Korean CP companies actually already pay this usage fee to ISP. So right now, all the CPs and like even you guys, we use internet, right? And we pay the connection fee, which is different from usage fee. We pay certain amount of like monthly fee to be able to connect to the network, right? To be able to use the internet, but not per how much usage you're using. You're offline. Okay, sure. But something that Korean ISPs started doing to the Korean CPs is that, hey, because you guys are driving a lot of traffic, we have to do a lot of extra work to improve our infrastructure. You're causing a lot of extra costs for us. So if you want to continue being able to use our service, you're going to have to pay extra per the usage that you're generating, per the traffic that you're generating, which is kind of like when you look at it from the surface, maybe it makes it like the argument makes sense. But once you dive deeper into it, it's the world that's going to get created by having this sort of fee is pretty crazy. But right now, this already exists in Korea, and a lot of Korean CPs are already paying like huge amount of money to the ISPs. So what happened was, so like to explain it in more simple terms, like imagine like, what would be a good example? Like imagine like ISPs built a road. And mind you, these I believe they receive like they have to get approved by the government. So these are almost like a monopolized like companies that are allowed to build this road, right? And then Like, let's say uh, Netflix is hosting a festival, like an event here, party. And then like Twitch is hosting a party. I don't know, YouTube is making like a giant amusement park, just as an example, right? So then this road, people used to, like, not a lot of people used to use this road, but then now everyone's like, oh, okay, I want to go to that party. So like a lot of cars started going on this road. So now the company that built this road is basically saying, hey, your parties are generating way too many cars to be going on our road, that it's making us to repair our roads more frequently. So now I'm gonna have to charge you per number of the cars that are going to your party. That's basically what's happening in a simpler terms. Or like maybe, I don't know if this is if this is a good metaphor, but like, or maybe like Tesla cars got so popular that a lot of people started driving Tesla on the roads. And then the road companies basically saying Tesla, hey, like your car's getting too popular. Too many people are riding your cars on our road. Now we're going to bill you per number of the Teslas on our road. Like that's basically sort of the argument that they're having right now, which is kind of ridiculous when you think about it. We just want people to pay us for the not actually use it, but and not mind you, like these cars are already paying the fees to use this road, right? So they're trying to basically double charge because these cars already paid a toll to go through this road, right? And so did them, certain fee. And then they're like, no, but like, we're driving way too much traffic on our road, and it's your fault for hosting such a fun party, such a popular amusement park, that we have to maintain costs. We have to increase our maintenance costs for our road. It's your fault, Google, for building such a fun party, and Twitch, damn, how dare you host these events? We have to bill you per number of the people that are attending. So they're basically double charging. But what was happening is, so they were using this argument towards the Korean CPs already. And they've been paying. They have been paying for this. They're like, okay. And I don't know much of history on like how this happened, but from what I understand, these Korean companies have already been paying. And when these global companies, like foreign companies, started also their business in Korea, they were like, what? Fuck that, no. So they didn't pay. So YouTube, Netflix, Twitch, these like foreign businesses in the beginning, they were like, no, that's unheard of. Like, no one does that. Why would we pay for that? So they weren't paying, and basically saying that is not a fair thing to do. We're not gonna pay. But what was happening was basically they were able to do that. So in companies like Google could do that. They could say, no, I'm not paying for that because, well, it's Google. It's Google. They own their own ISPs. Not only they own their own ISP service globally. Imagine like these Korean ISPs try to charge YouTube or charge Google for the amount of the traffic that they generate. Google could easily go and say, well, then we're not going to service our business in Korea. We're going to shut down YouTube, or we're going to shut down Google. Imagine that. Imagine the backlash that these ISPs are going to receive if Google were to be like, nope, bye Korea. Sorry, we don't want to pay like 10x amount of operating costs just to be able to service in tiny little country. So they couldn't really say much to Google, even though Google was basically saying, no, we're not going to pay that fee. That's ridiculous. So then, okay, then who's another CP that we could try to make them pay? So what happened was that one of the Korean ISP companies sued Netflix. Because they're not as big as YouTube, but they are still generating pretty big amount of streaming traffic. And maybe there's a chance that we can win them and make a good precedent, which they can then use to sue maybe Google or other companies. Who is paying? Korean CPs are paying. And then the irony of all of this is that, and this is sort of like a little bit of my speculation being added, but like the irony of all of this is that because ISPs were charging these fees, that a lot of the smaller Korean CPs were not able to survive, because like who is able to, like, if imagine like even a company like Twitch, Amazon is like saying, yep, nope, we can't do this, it's too expensive for us. Imagine like there were any sort of like Korean startup that were trying to make a second YouTube or like a Korean YouTube, Korean Twitch type service in Korea. They're not going to have enough cash flow or profit or investment money enough to make it to become as big as or YouTube. They have no chance, right? So a lot of like video streaming service startups ended up shutting down their businesses in Korea. And this is my speculation, and a lot of people's speculation is that it was because of that ridiculous fee that they had to pay, and they just couldn't make sense of the business, right? So then, ironically, so they basically killed all of these local video streaming businesses that were started by, like indies or like smaller startups, which actually made it a lot easier for services like YouTube and Netflix and Twitch to survive and become almost like monopoly in Korea because they had no local competition. Because all the smaller streaming services died because they couldn't pay this fee. So they basically gave them an open field. Hey, they came over and they're like, oh, there are no local competition that does service like YouTube in Korea. Yay. So and then everyone started watching YouTube and Netflix and Twitch. Well, there is a Twitch's competition in Korea, which I'll also explain a little bit later. But it made it very easy for these global or like foreign services to become like a number one live streaming or video streaming services in Korea. So it's very ironic that now they're complaining that YouTube has so much, YouTube and Netflix is generating so much traffic because, well, who created that environment? Whose fault is that? So in the long run, they almost hurt themselves, and they also hurt like, potentially they almost affected like a Korean economy and the survival of local businesses that are like YouTube and Netflix. And if there were services that were competitive enough, that might have given us or Korea leverage to get YouTube or Netflix to be like, okay, like maybe we'll adjust our standing on certain issues differently, because in order for us to, be a number one service in Korea. But no, so they are the most streamed like video streaming services in Korea right now, and Riot off of LOL. Yeah, so that they also will get involved. So that's why I said this is not just about Twitch. It actually involves a lot of other global business that you guys love, and potential of them also being driven off of Korea, which is kind of crazy. So. Back to the topic. So one of the ISPs in Korea sued Netflix, saying, "Hey, you gotta pay this. You gotta pay this fee. It's unfair. All of the other Korean CPs pay for this, and you foreign companies come in here like you own this place, and you're not paying for the fees that these other big Korean CPs are paying. Give us the money. And then at the time, like the way they sort of what's the word? Like, I don't know if propaganda is the right word, but like the way they framed, okay, yeah, frame is the word I was looking for. The way they framed this and their argument, let's just remove all the speculations and like conspiracy and like corruption out of the picture, right? Let's just look at their argument. What is ISP arguing? They're saying, hey, we're doing this for the sake of Korean consumers and the Korean economy, because it's just unfair that these foreign companies are benefiting off of Korean consumers without paying the cost of running the business. That is their argument. And without understanding how, these like the relationship between ISPs and CPs and how these things work in other countries, when you just hear that framing, let's imagine just like a news article title that says these are foreign companies taking advantage of Korean consumers without paying the proper fees that other Korean companies pay. Like, just imagine just that. Like, obviously people are gonna get baited and think, oh, that's so unfair. Like bad YouTube, bad Netflix. So then there were, I think initially a lot of people actually did support the ISPs and like, but then a lot of the people who are knowledgeable and educated in these type of topics started speaking up and explaining why this fee is just like unheard of in other countries. I think people started getting a lot more educated, and that's around when I also got started following along this as well, because I was like, what? How dare they not paying the fees that all these other companies other Korean companies are paying? But then, I actually looked into it and I was like, oh, wait a minute. What is this fee to begin with? Like, it doesn't exist in any other countries. If people support the ISPs, then they won't mind paying extra for the content delivery. Korea is one of the most tech-savvy countries, so this is nothing but nonsense to them. We removed Twitch cringe. You may clap now. Wait, what? Oh, no. So when the ISP sued Netflix, they went through the whole trial, and for the first round, ding ding, ISP actually won. And the court actually sided with ISP and said, hey, Netflix, you have to pay for this. So then Netflix said, nah, and they appealed. And that's around when a lot of nerds and people who are in the industry started speaking up as well, try to educate people, because if this were to create any sort of like precedent that the CPs, even from the foreign countries, have to pay for this fee, then that could be used to go against like YouTube, Twitch, and like all these other CPs, right? So then things get weird from here. What happened was, all of a sudden, and this part I don't exactly know how it happened, so don't quote me on it. Like, you can follow up on it if you want to know more. But I just know the event that happened, which is basically government gets involved and say, hey, we understand that this is sort of like a new thing in the new world, and it's really difficult for the court to decide on what needs to be done because there's no such cases that happened in the past. So the government gets involved and they're like, we will help you make a new law on this. Then Google gets involved. Because up to this point, it was just a fight between two businesses, right? Like, it was just fight between this like ISP called SK in Korea and then Netflix. And then all of a sudden, if the government gets involved and they're like, we're going to make this a law, that's different. Leaving a precedent, which is very critical because it can be used against these other companies. But if it actually becomes a law, now then they will have to pay for it. There's no cases going back and forth. It's just gonna be like, no, this is a Korean law. You have to pay it, and they have to abide by it. So that's when Google gets involved as well, because they're like, no, 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 what are you guys doing? Now this is becoming a little bit more serious. So let's see. So apparently Twitch has already been paying for this, and I looked up the numbers right before the stream just to see if they posted that anywhere. And I found this from Korean articles that apparently they have already been paying about $40 to $90 million every year, this fee. And some of the reporters looked up their revenue report, Twitch's revenue report that they had to do for some kind of like other trial that had nothing to do with Twitch, but like they had to disclose it. So don't quote me on this. I found this on an article. And Twitch's profit in Korea is about 1.6 million. It was about 1.6 million in 2021 and 1.8 million in 2022. And again, it's not their official information. This was an article that some reporter wrote, and the reporter found it from some of the court cases that required Twitch to share their profit. So when they say we have to pay like 10x amount of operating costs in Korea, they're not joking. So they had to pay ISP for like 40 to 90 million while they're making profit of about 1.6 to like, let's say 2 million in Korea. Right? So I think the numbers add up, like from what Twitch has been saying. I know they didn't share like official numbers in their official announcements, but just kind of like putting all the articles and like reports that I saw together, the number seems to add up. And well, it was a revenue report, so not profit, sorry, revenue report. So that is a lot of money. And it just, if you're a business, it just does not make sense to operate. Yeah, might be. I said profit, but I meant revenue report. So it just does not make sense as a business to continue this. So it makes sense why the CEO was saying, hey, we just could not find a way to run it sustainably in Korea. Right? That's why I'm paying more for Netflix. Yes, so if you do watch Netflix in Korea, your subscription fee is actually a lot more expensive than any other countries because of this fee, from what I heard. I heard Netflix subscription fee is more expensive in Korea than others. To make up for that cost. But like no country can actually realistically make up. Well, I mean, actually, that's not true because there are, I guess, Korean like really big CPs that are paying this fee but are still, I guess, making profits. But it would be really, really, really difficult for any sort of startups that are not, part of a big corpo would be able to survive and make it to the state. And even a company like Twitch and Amazon could not survive. So how could any smaller startups would even dare to start a streaming service in Korea, right? There's no point to serve content there. Exactly. I'm just catching up on your chat messages. And then also like imagine like once it's allowed for the ISPs to kind of like pick and choose who they're gonna charge this fee to, and like what network that they get connected to, like things can become a lot more political and corrupt. I read chat. What do you mean copium? But yeah, no small business will be able to survive until like they can pass some sort of like break-even point. Which has already been happening, which is why there's no like small video streaming service in Korea. So Twitch is saying your road is just not worth it. Pretty much, but at the end, can you blame them though? At the end of the day, Twitch is not a charity. They are a business, and Hana reads chat selectively. That's true. I do ignore little Hallow's chat every time on purpose. Hi, Akigun. Hello, welcome. First time chatter. And then, so let's dive a little bit further into this, right? So this is starting off as like a battle between ISP and CP, right? But if you take, and then now the government gets involved, and then like let's take a step back. Now involving countries, and like because things are never simple. Like everything has a butterfly effect, right? So let's say Korea makes this law that, you know, these American businesses or like, you know, foreign businesses have to pay for this, which does not exist in any other countries. What are some of the butterfly effects that can happen? Think about it, chat. What do you think are some things that could potentially happen? And while you, fuck! Oh, thank God I drank all the tea. Okay, I'm gonna go, I knocked my cup over, but I'm gonna go get some water real quick. But think about the not butter, butterfly effect. Think about it. I get some water. And I need to go beep boop real quick, okay? Be right back.
Beep boop.
Who pooped in my cup? Gross. Stop coming in here. No, someone says someone pooped in my cup. What do you mean? Don't howl at me. Howl at the chat. Ow. So shall we continue? Did you think about it? Did you think about what sort of butterfly effects this could happen? No one said that. Oh my God. There's something called chat history. Other countries will start to want this too. Yes. Good point, SNSR. People homeless because they're paying for Netflix. Sure, that could happen. All costs go up, yes. Net neutrality means that every service is treated equally, but many countries don't have a true neutrality. If other countries follow Korea's suit, it will be the doom of the internet. Yes. I was gonna think about it, then I realized I didn't care enough. Sure. ISP in other countries will try to copy. Yeah. So that could be one. That could be one case where other countries, because this little battle between conflicts between ISPs and CPs are not only happening in Korea. Like it exists. This tension exists. It's just that no one has actually executed the idea of charging people for usage. So if Korea leaves a precedent that that they're gonna charge streaming services like YouTube, Netflix, these like really really big global services, then some other countries ISPs might go, oh hey, they're making a lot of more extra money by doing this. Hey, Korea's doing it, and YouTube and Netflix is paying them. How come they're not paying us? So all these other countries might also try to adopt something similar, which is bad. And again, the irony of this is that if other countries' ISPs start doing this, Korean CPs will also have to pay if they're ever to start a business in other countries, like using other countries' ISPs. Like any sort of like Korean content businesses, they're gonna have to pay for that too. Goodbye internet neutrality if that happens. If it is the same eternal war like the producers versus content creators, something else that could also potentially happen is that this is almost because government is getting involved and it's almost like a battle between the countries. When I was looking, because I was curious if there were any sort of like similar cases that happened in elsewhere, like outside of country, and I saw that EU once attempted to charge American like big tech corpos for some kind of like digital tax. And I don't know much about this. So if there are EU nanners in chat that knows more, feel free to chime in and like add more info. But I saw that EU attempted to charge something called like digital fee, like digital tax to the American big corpos, like tech corpos especially. And then what America then did was they were like, all right, that's how you're gonna play this game. So then they increased the import tax law, the import tax on EU, which made all the products of EU, products that were imported from the EU get a lot more expensive in America. So then EU went, okay, just kidding. We're gonna get rid of that digital tax. Let's be friends again. Just forget that happened. Here's the neuralizer. I heard that's what happened. Is that correct, EU nanners? Was it called EU Digital Right Act? I don't know. I don't know the details. I was just like Googling real quick to see like, did something like this ever happen? You read something like that? Yeah, I read something like that too. So in a super high level without having a lot of context and information on it, I don't know. You don't follow stuff? Okay. But I heard that basically EU tried to charge these big American tech corpos, hey, we're going to charge you guys because you are profiting off of our EU citizens without paying a proper digital tax on it. We are going to charge you for something called digital tax. And then America was like, okay, sure. Now, well, all the stuff that we import and you guys sell in America, we're going to raise the tax on those. So then EU was like, haha, Monka left. Just kidding, America. We're gonna get rid of this digital tax. Please continue servicing your business in our countries, and also let's talk about the import tax you raised a little bit. Yeah. Monka left, so that they got rid of that digital tax. So something very similar could, I think, happen here, where let's say Korea bring in this network usage fee and they make it by a law in Korea, then America could go, all right, this is how you're going to play Korea? This is how you're going to play? And they could bring any sort of other trading, they could get involved and change any sort of like other trading laws that could disadvantage Korea or make, quote unquote, like make it fair, right? I mean, that's what trades are, right? Like you trade things that benefits each other equally. So like if Korea's government get involved and make this law that, you know, these companies have to pay extra fee, then America could very well go and say, oh, just to make things fair and square, we're also going to add tax on XYZ from Korea. And then Korea might have to go, haha, Monka left. Just kidding. We are going to get rid of this stupid usage thing and usage fee, and we can pretend that this talk never happened. So that's another, I think, butterfly effect that could potentially happen, especially if the government gets involved. You text me, I text you. Here are tariffs for everyone. Next thing you know, there are weird things like Ecuador having a $10 tax on flip-flops and shoes entering the country. Actually happened? Really?
You're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking.
And then, you know, some Korean people could say, hey, like, wouldn't it, like, just to play devil's advocate, right? Like, some Korean people might say, hey, like, what if other countries' ISPs adopt this? Like, why would we care? Like, we're a small country in the grand scheme of things, and like how often do Korean, you know, content or streaming services like succeed in like other countries? But times are different now. Like, think about these really, really popular Korean content that's been really successful in the past, you know, like K-pop, and all the, like, Netflix is going ham on Korean shows. If you guys haven't noticed, they are, they're investing a lot in Korean content. Yeah, like Squid Game, and like they've been receiving a lot of like awards, and K-dramas, Korean games. So Sweet Home is pretty good too. Yeah, I like Sweet Home a lot. K-pop text. So that's not really a sound argument anymore, because we are living in a global generation now. And I feel like, and this is my personal opinion, but it feels like Korea is almost like, wait, is this a Korean expression or American expression? Like spitting on their own face? Is this, I think it's a Korean saying, right? Do Americans say this? Or like hitting their own foot with a hammer? Is this also a Korean expression? It might be. Wait, what's an equivalent saying in America, like in English? Pissing into the wind? Shooting their own foot. Yes. Shooting yourself in the foot. Yes, that is an American way of saying it. There is a very similar Korean saying, which is 지 발등에 도끼 찢는다, meaning like you're hitting your foot with a hammer, kicking your own balls. Shooting this is or like basically you're spitting like facing up, so you're spitting it to your own face. Like all same nuance, same meaning, just different expressions in different countries. But yes, I was mixing up the shooting themselves in the foot with the spitting one and then the hammer one. But yeah, shooting themselves, I feel like Korea is shooting themselves in the foot. Like they're kind of looking at, Korean government and these ISPs are looking at it in a very close lens and not seeing things in a longer term view. Like they're looking at the trees and not the forest. And there's definitely, like, despite whatever they're saying, oh, this is to benefit the country, and then to the Korean, it's for the benefit of the Korean consumers. How is this? But no one is articulating how exactly this is benefiting Korean consumers. If anything, it's making Netflix subscription fee go up, and it's making a great platform like Twitch to leave Korea, which is then also like resulting in having all these streamers and their communities are being forced to leave their home. It's horrible. And because Twitch is a global platform, there's a lot of like really fun collaborated content that might not have happened otherwise in an isolated like local platform, right? Like streamers like Hachu or Charming Joe and their community exists because of a global platform like Twitch. They are able to collaborate with streamers outside of Korea and then be able to share their stories and music with other. Korea is not banning Twitch. Korea, basically, ISP is charging this usage fee to Twitch, and Twitch is not able to come up with a sustainable business model that makes sense in Korea, that they're shutting it down. But they have no choice. So this is not Twitch's fault. Like I saw a lot of people commenting like, "Oh, like I call bullshit. Like they're like, why is Twitch doing this? Like Twitch is cruel for doing this." But honestly, like I a lot of Koreans actually understand why Twitch is doing this, and empathize, because at the end of the day, they are a business, right? They're not doing this out of charity, and it doesn't make sense for them to continue this. So a lot of Koreans don't blame them. They're not upset towards Twitch. They are actually more upset towards this like ridiculous fee that they're trying to charge and government getting involved. There are petitions which I signed. I'm not sure if these petitions are allowed to be shared like globally for like people outside, which is why I'm not going to share the link today. But if I find any other ways to figure out a way to help and support them, I will share it with my community. And then on top of this is a little bit of like my personal thoughts and personal analysis. But I think just a little bit of an additional reason why I think Twitch is shutting down. Like in addition to all of this, like fee stuff that's going on, you have to think about like what is Twitch to Amazon. Like think about the Uber picture. Like outside of Twitch is part of Amazon, as you guys all know. Amazon acquired Twitch a couple of years ago. And what is Twitch to Amazon? What do you guys think? What do you think Twitch, what is the value that Twitch adds to Amazon? Nothing really. A hole in a wallet. Twitch is an annoying little monkey sick to them. Probably. Twitch is a sugar baby. Not a lot, none. Twitch is to AWS is a hurdle. They'll shut it down if it's a bother. Ad revenue, sure. Is Amazon big in Korea? Okay, so I'll get to that. Twitch is genuine. Besides better propaganda, sure. Yeah. So I think you guys are like have a general idea that like Twitch is obviously not Amazon's main revenue business. Right? Like Amazon is. Has anyone heard of something called flywheel strategy from Amazon? It's their very core business model that they operate off of. It's called flywheel. Oh, okay. It's been a while, so I don't remember what the flywheel exactly was like. I think it started off with it's like more traffic, cheaper price, more traffic, and then more distributor, I think. Or selection, I think they call it. Selection. So I think this is it. You can double check. But this is how Jeff Bezos started. This was their core business model called flywheel, where the more selections there are, basically more distributors, products there are, there'll be more traffic. And the more traffic there is, they can lower the cost. Oh, well, sorry, wrong order. More selection, the cheaper the item can be. The cheaper the items are, the more people are gonna come in, and the more traffic comes in, the more selection. So like it's like a never-ending cycle that helps them run their business, which is why they went like really aggressive on making this happen. And then now they have added like more things here and there to basically get this flywheel going even faster. And they oil it by adding like different forms of business models so that they can make this flywheel go on and on and on and on and on. And then like Amazon usually like each of their business sectors will have some sort of like a flywheel model for themselves as well. And then how they add into this Uber Amazon's flywheel model. I don't know how actively they use this nowadays, but this was like their core business model just a couple of years ago when Bezos, was on the top. Notice it's a start that allows you to keep hold of a large parcel of a certain market and lets you lower operating costs over time. Exactly. And then lowering operating costs, then you can lower the pricing for the customers, and there are more customers that come in, and then the more customers come in, more distributors wanna sell on your platform, so you can get more selections. So it helps them basically run their business in a very efficient way. So like, how does Twitch fit into this picture for Amazon? How much value does Twitch add into this picture? AWS is what makes Amazon profitable. Exactly. Yes. AWS is, again, I have to check their latest, but just a couple of years ago, it was AWS is what makes the biggest. Marcelo, thank you so much for 10 subs. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. These are your foxes. Thank you. Oh, it stands. They're a little bit blind right now. Okay. Aw, foxes. Thank you. Thank you for 10 community sub, Marcelo. Appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, AW is like the top contributing revenue generator for Amazon. So Twitch actually uses... So Twitch is kind of a cost center. Twitch is a customer of AWS in a way. Internal customer. Don't forget about selling all of our personal data to ad companies. Tons of sites use AWS as their backend. Exactly. I think generally Twitch is a pain in Amazon's ass from the money point of view. I sort of agree, but basically the value that you could kind of tell from the past couple of years after Twitch got acquired by Amazon, like they're trying to figure out like how do we make Twitch make sense within the Uber Amazon business. And then you saw them basically adding what did they do with the Prime? If you subscribe to Amazon Prime, you get Prime sub, right? You get a free Prime sub. Right? So they've done some effort there to use Twitch to make the Prime subscription, Amazon Prime subscription more valuable. Okay, Fox. Where did this one come from? Did it just get up from sleep? Oh, okay. And what was I saying? Damn it, the fox distracted me. What was I saying? Oh, so Twitch plays a little bit of role in like teeny tiny role of bringing traffic over to Twitch, Amazon Prime, and adding value to Prime. And then also they've been more aggressive around like how they can figure out, they can become a profitable standalone business, right? So I think that's why they have like really aggressive like sub what's the word I'm looking for? The split and the bid stuff, and they've been more aggressive around like ad stuff lately. So I think Twitch is actually probably working really hard to figure out, contributing to the Uber Amazon business model. Why? I'm in the middle of explaining something. Rude. Every time you do this, I'm like, what was I talking about? Oh, and this hat doesn't go away, chat. So someone give me an accessory. That's the only way to get rid of it. I don't know why it refuses to go away, but Twitch is contributing by acting as a gateway for people to use AWS and Amazon Store through Prime. Yes, so they are, I think, internally trying to figure out, just because, Twitch is part of Amazon, it's not like they can just use AWS for free. Like, it doesn't work like that. If they are being an internal cost, if they're creating some sort of like internal cost, they also have to somehow make up for that, right? That's how business, okay, you can stop now. That's how business works. So, and think of it, does anybody remember Mixer? Yes, they do get big discount on AWS. Of course, as an internal service, they do get discount, but they still have to pay for that. They still have to or make up for that somehow. We really like to go to Mixers. Does anybody remember Mixer? Mixer was owned by Microsoft, who also owns their own cloud service. But look what happened to Mixer. Even a company like Microsoft, who owns their own cloud service, Microsoft stopped way too early with Mixer. Amen. Even a company like Microsoft also ended up discontinuing Mixer because ultimately the cost and the business model didn't make sense for them. I do think they could have given it a little more time. Mixer spent all their money on Ninja and they died. Sag. R.I.P. Zune. Mixer got mixed up. They fumbled an opportunity. Yeah, it's sad. But back to this topic on like what Twitch means to Amazon. So Amazon actually does not have the delivery, like the online shopping business in Korea. They are, I believe, affiliated with some other similar companies that already exist in Korea. But Korea already had a great infrastructure for delivery services, and really leading Korean companies, that it didn't make sense for Amazon to have their delivery service business there. Koreans already figured out the whole shipping and delivery overnight thing. Also, because it's like a smaller country, right? So it took us not that long to figure that stuff out. And Korean people are impatient. We want things. We want the immediate gratification all the time that Coupang is the Korean Amazon. Yes, Coupang and all the like food. Uber also. Services like Uber Eats, like getting your food delivery services is also like very popular and done really well. All those infra is already existing in Korea that I don't think it made sense for maybe Amazon to like go into Korean market. So they are affiliated with like some of those leading companies, but they're not actually having like a direct service, online shopping service in Korea. So even more or less reason for Amazon to support Twitch in Korea, because if you think about Twitch as a way to add value to Amazon Prime service, in that angle, Amazon is like, well, why are you losing all this money in Korean market when Amazon doesn't even provide like an online shopping service in Korea, right? So even more reason that that Twitch is probably being told by the big Amazon papa, like, hey, you're eating up a lot of money over there and without generating a lot of value to the Uber papa Amazon. So, and on top of that, Korean communities, what I noticed, do not use subs and like native Twitch features to support creators, like subs and bits. Because they're like, this cut that Twitch takes, it doesn't make any sense. So they use a lot of third-party services, like something called Twip. I don't. If you guys follow Korean streamers, you guys might have seen it. It's kind of like people using PayPal donos here, but they use Twip for donations, and a lot of Korean communities also enjoy using something called like it does a lot of interactivity stuff. Like you can donate to play clips, and a lot of Korean streamers actually use this as a content, like they react content. So like people use Twip to donate so that they can share a clip on streamers screen, and then they watch it together, they talk about it, they react to it, and then people also just use Twip for normal donations. And then there are things like missions and challenges that people can like bet on to like make streamer do some. So not a lot of people use subs and bits either in Korean communities. Probably, although Twitch has a lot of Korean users and traffic with them, they're probably not also making a lot of profit out of all the traffics that they're getting either. So that sort of, I think, sums up what's happening and why Twitch is shutting down their business in Korea. I tried my best to kind of remove speculations and like my personal thoughts out and focus more on the events that I know happened. Hopefully that was helpful.